What's up, guys? I'm excited to have you back and to talk to you about Dress Like a Man. Now, if you've somehow stumbled on this video before seeing all the others in the sequence, make sure you go back and check those out first because they're going to provide some very necessary context for you to understand what we're talking about now. Because ultimately, here's the deal. I'm not just helping you dress better, I'm helping you show up in your life better. The reality is that clothes on their own don't matter. Their only value is if they improve the way that you see yourself and the way that other people perceive you. If you're not on board with that concept, I basically can tell you that the rest of this video and honestly my entire program is not for you, which is great. No hard feelings. I wish you the best of luck. However, if you are on the same page and you know that the way you look can lead to real life improvement, then let's talk about Dress Like a Man and how this program is designed to facilitate all of that. The program is broken down into 4 sections. The first section is all about the relationship between appearance and masculinity and helping you get into the right mindset of what your approach to your clothing should actually be. I don't want to turn you into a fashionista or into a menswear nerd. Now, if you find yourself really getting into this and enjoying it, that's awesome. But my goal is not to get you to the point where you're overly concerned with how to get the perfect spalla camicia or when it's appropriate to wear linen. I don't want style to be a main focus of your life. What I do want to do is get you really focused on it for a short period of time so you get really good at it, and then you can switch over into maintenance mode so you keep reaping all the rewards but free yourself up to focus on other things. And the best way to start doing that is to give you the right mindset of what your relationship with your appearance should be. After that, we dive into the formula that I gave you in the last video. Section 2 is the science of style, and in there I talk about things like contrast, color, fit, pattern, face shape, all these other variables that will help you know what's worth keeping in your closet and what you own that you should get rid of. Think about what knowing just that little bit of information can do for you. Honestly, if you're like most men, the thought of going shopping, let alone shopping for clothing, is no thank you, right? But one of the reasons why most men hate shopping is because there's just so many decisions with so little direction that it becomes overwhelming. And so what this does is it eliminates the vast majority of things in any store and gets you focused on the things that are actually going to look good on you. Regardless of where you live in the world, who the people are that you associate with, what you do for a living, what your hobbies are, knowing this information is going to help you look and show up better. Section 3 is the staples. All 35 items that I recommend you have in your closet, and here's an idea of what that looks like. With each staple, I give you a breakdown of the key takeaways, recommendations on where to pick them up based on different price points, and what's probably most important, a breakdown of where each staple fits within each of the 3 masculine style archetypes. Now, as I've worked with clients over the years, I've learned that the order in which you pick these items up is totally subjective and completely reliant on each individual. You may need a pair of dress shoes as your very next purchase, or it may be the last one that you need to make. And while I can't help each of you one by one, what I can do and have done is break them down into the typical order in which I see them according to the archetypes of my clients. Finally, section 4 is all about taking it to the next level and learning how to really tell a story with your style. We all want to find the right balance between fitting in and standing out. None of us wants to be a faceless, nameless member of the collective, but we don't want to be oddballs or outcasts either. The key to balancing tribalism and individuality is telling unique stories through universal themes. And that applies just as much to your clothing as it does to the words you speak. In the last video, I gave you 2 of the biggest universal themes that men care about: mastery and loyalty or honor. And those look very different in football than they do in punk rock, which is entirely different than how they look in Islam, which is way different than how they looked in ancient Maya. Your own mastery and your tribe's honor are things that you should be communicating with your clothing, and section 4 teaches you how to do that. Now that you know all 4 sections, let's take a step back and look at the big picture of what this can really do for you. You're here because you want to dress better. You know it can improve your life, and you're also the kind of man who's not just interested in talking about dressing better, but actually puts action to your words, which already gets you way ahead of the vast majority of men in the world. You may feel like you're completely in the dark, or like you have this style stuff down relatively well, but you recognize that you can not only do better, but it will improve your life. Now, the problem that I know you're experiencing is one that I've dealt with forever, and that is everyone teaches style stuff the same way that we learned history in high school. The teacher takes the subject material, gives you relevant data and figures, and then just expects you to be able to regurgitate it without giving you any sort of context or the underlying principles. I hated history in high school. I couldn't have cared less about the difference between nobles of the sword or nobles of the robe, or when the Battle of Hastings was. None of it mattered to me because none of it had any application in my life. It was all just useless information that I memorized long enough to spit back out on a test and then move on with my day. Most men feel the exact same way about anything related to style. Who cares about the difference between a warm red or a cool red? It's just the color red. Or why should I care if my shorts end below my calves or just above my knee when it doesn't make it any easier for me to get in or out of my car? The problem with just focusing on the facts alone without giving any context is that they lose all meaning. And if they don't have any meaning, then there's no value. As much as I hated history in high school, I love it now. And the reason I love it is because I learn about it from men who, yes, they give me the facts, but they also give me the mindset of the people who are experiencing the events, the context, the principles, the applications, and ultimately an understanding of how these things that happen to other people in other parts of the world at other times can impact me and my life in the world that I live in. Honestly, they make it come alive. They make it add value to my daily life, and they make it something that I'm hungry for. I can do the same thing for you with your style. I can take something that the average man is loath to expend any mental energy on and help you learn to love it. I can take those meaningless colors and patterns and basics and give them value for you. I can help you understand the background, the context, the overall impact, and most importantly, the underlying principles. I've made style come alive and add daily value for thousands of my clients, and honestly made it something that they're hungry for. History hasn't taken over my life, but my understanding history better has improved my life, and I can do the same thing for you with your style. Dress like a man, it's the same formula I've given to my clients who pay thousands of dollars to work with me. I've taken all the commonalities of working with those men over the years and put them into a system that you can use for yourself. It starts with the basics, the tactics, and then moves into helping you understand the principles and the context of why style can be so effective. Now, even though this is the same system I've used with my coaching clients, I'm giving it to you guys for $97. That said, I know that there are limitations to picking up a program as opposed to working one-on-one with me. So in order to help balance that out, I've got a few bonuses for you guys. The first one is super limited, and the only reason for that is because I'm a one-man team here and I only have so much time available to me. But the first 200 men who pick up Dress Like a Man will get access to a live coaching call with me. This is where you get me at my best, unscripted and responding directly to your questions. You'll be on with a small group of other men, so you'll be able to hear from their questions, but you'll also feel like you have the time to be able to ask yours. And what's more, I'm going to give you guys recordings of each one of these live calls so that you can see everything that I've done with all these guys. But like I said, because I don't have a team of coaches working with me, I'm doing each one of these by myself, and so that number is limited. The second bonus is access to a private Facebook group. The reality is that as you start dressing more intentionally, you're going to want feedback, and you're going to want it from men who understand the same concepts and principles as you do. This community is just that. Not only will you have access to men who are on the same journey, but I'll be in there responding to your questions, giving you guys tips, helping you out along the way. And then I've got one last bonus to throw in for you guys. For the next 5 days, I'm dropping the price from $97 down to $67. So just to recap, here's what you're getting. Appearance and masculinity, which is help creating the right mindset about your relationship with your clothing. The science of style, details about contrast, color, fit, pattern, all of it. The staples, 35 items that every man should have in his closet, along with tips on where to buy them, what makes them great, and how to wear them. Style is storytelling, a breakdown of the 4 universal themes that men have always been concerned with telling each other. historical examples of how men have told those stories, and then tips on how you can tell those same stories yourself. Access to a private Facebook community of like-minded men and the ability to directly ask me questions. And a 30-day money-back guarantee with no arguments, no hassle. I hope you join me and the other men who not only see the value in dressing intentionally, but enjoy talking about it, learning about it, and getting better at it. It really is one of the fastest ways to kill mediocrity, and what's more important is it opens up doors for you to be able to focus on much bigger, much more important improvements in your life. I hope to see you guys on the other side.